It's my privilege to introduce the next speaker, the very charming Junna Hashimoto, whom I met this morning for the first time. Junna is one of the young Bainese in the crowd. I'm sure there's a few others of you floating around. There you go. What I find very, pardon me, Junna is from Tokyo, and what I find very interesting about what she's trying to do is something that I'm very sympathetic towards. She said she doesn't like fluff and waffle. She doesn't like uncertain outcomes. She likes things to be concrete and to have consequences. I think that's a very important sentiment. It applies in her life in the context of her desires to have an impact in the social world, in charities, nonprofits, and those who seek to do better through social intervention. But she brings with her the discipline of working in a consultancy like Bain, and she thinks that there is a marriage to be made between the two. The application of the strict processes and the ability to intervene to improve businesses that Bain brings to the world, she believes can be brought to the social world as well. I think that is a very noble desire and an aspiration I hope she fulfills. Ladies and gentlemen, Junna Hashimoto.
Wow. Thank you, Doug. Hello. My name is Junna Hashimoto, and like most of you here, I imagine a world without poverty. I imagine a world where every individual has access to adequate healthcare and education. I also imagine a world where everyone is represented, every voice is heard. But why does that have to do anything with business? So, for the last couple of years, I've been asking myself a question, which I will propose to you, the audience, as well. Are the principles of business, the skills and concepts, the frameworks applicable to poverty alleviation and social development, especially for social sector organizations? The short answer is yes, without a doubt, and I'm sure you already knew that. Put another way, actually doing business in the social sector world is much harder, and therefore business skills are much more important than you may think. How did I come to this realization? Well, it all started for me when I was 13. Growing up in Southeast Asia during my formative years, as a privileged daughter of an expat, I was exposed to the drastic difference of the haves and the have-nots. It was also the first time I ever visited a slum. Cherry, the girl I met there, I will never forget her. She was about the same age as me. She kindly befriended me and invited me back to her place. I was totally unprepared to see what I saw next. She lived in a room no bigger than my bathroom at home with 5 other family members. I was very young and did not understand the complexities of poverty. To be honest, I still don't fully understand the complexities of poverty, but I was sure of one thing. This was very, very wrong. So for the next 10 years of my life, I dedicated myself to volunteering at charity organizations, both local and global. I studied urban development and public health while advising policymakers. But the longer I worked, the more frustrated I became. My impact was too small. The results I was delivering was very hard to track. And worse, though our people were passionate and dedicated, our execution somehow rarely tracked with our intentions. This is when I turned to business, reluctantly. In fact, I thought most business people were soulless and out of touch with reality. Boy, I was both naive and young and wrong. For the last 2 years, I've been working at Bain & Company, a management consulting firm, and people ask me, what do you do there? Well, I say, making an impact. We've been talking about aligning profit-making with social impact, making corporations more socially responsible. We also see the rise in social entrepreneurship, ranging from small-scale local initiatives to global social venture funds. But how about bringing business logic and frameworks more fully to the social sector organizations themselves? I have learned that business frameworks, such as market and competitor analysis, customer segmentation, marketing, employee management, just to name a few, are actually very applicable in running an NGO or NPO. But more importantly, I believe that strong businesses are good at one thing: maximizing impact with limited resources. This requires you to be strategic. You need to focus, simplify, and execute. First, clarify the direction you want to bring your organization. Then, strip away the complexities of the organization. Finally, Delegate accountability to the members to execute and track the impact the organization has made and is making. I know this works because last year I applied these same concepts to help turn around the operations of an anti-human trafficking organization in Japan called the Polaris Project. Polaris Project provides emotional support to trafficked victims, helps them navigate immigration issues, brings them and finds them medical and mental health assistance, as well as coordinates legal assistance. Their efforts help rehabilitate young women, a step that will ultimately prepare them for future legitimate employment. However, like many nonprofits, Polaris Project had trouble securing sufficient funding to sustain its efforts. By sizing the market, which I've estimated as number of trafficked victims, and understanding the sources of funding, which are potential donors, we were able to tailor our marketing directly to those donors. Through this work, we were also able to develop a 3-year business plan. Today, the organization is on a strong footing, and the CEO is now expanding the organization in Japan, adding full-time employees and volunteers, thus enabling Polaris Project to scale its impact. I'm not suggesting that business logic should be applied to every development-related organization. After all nonprofits are in the business of changing lives, supporting, making an impact, and improving lives, not making a profit. And the funds they receive are indirect, not from their customers. But in order to install permanent change, we need a sustainable business model that allows for social sector organizations to have autonomy. And I've learned that business techniques can be of critical assistance. So what does this mean for you come tomorrow? I understand that not all of us will be starting a company or an organization. I understand that not many of us will be sitting on the cabinet of our respective countries. Wouldn't that be nice? But I think that we can also leverage the skills that we have, that we use already today in our day-to-day jobs. If you'd like to provide your own business skills, see if your company will donate them pro bono to nonprofit and volunteer organizations. These skills could be in consulting like mine, or finance, IT, marketing, or others. You can ask your companies to start or expand internship programs to give young people a corporate experience that could build their resume for the future. Or you can volunteer directly at these organizations, offering with key business issues such as growth, communication, strategy, or whatever is your area of expertise. The important thing here is to share your skills and expertise, leverage your expertise that you already have. I'll end here by strongly appealing to those of you who are passionate about social impact. Pick an issue. Start sharing your skills. We sit here today because we understand both the importance of intentions and execution. Ideally, they should meet in the middle. I believe that the principles of business can and must be transferred to the social sector. As for me, as I said in the beginning, it will always be about creating a world without poverty. Thank you.